Defend yourself against DDoS attacks by hiding your true IP address with ExpressVPN, and visit my custom link expressvpn.com/ghilliemaster in the description to find out how you can get an extra 3 months free. Hey everyone, and welcome to another GTA Online video here on the channel. Today we are going to be experimenting with some weaponry, and we're going to be creating a blunderbuss within GTA 5. And the way that's going to happen is by adjusting the stats of the musket weapon, as that is something that is most similar to a blunderbuss that we already have in the game. Now, the blunderbuss has been in a Rockstar game before. It was actually in RDR 1 as part of the Undead Nightmare expansion.
A blunderbuss? Is this a joke? What is this, 1850?
And overall, it's just a unique weapon that would be fun to have in GTA Online. It's something different. So to start things off, if we're making a blunderbuss style weapon, for the ideal performance or design of it, it's going to behave like a shotgun, but with a bigger spread to it, and it's going to fire more pellets than your typical shotgun to make up for that bigger spread. To create this within GTA 5, we have to change the musket stats from firing 1 bullet to firing 16 bullets within 1 shot. All other shotguns in the game right now fire 8 pellets, so it would act a bit differently compared to those. And the spread needs to be increased so that all 16 shots don't go to the exact same location. So I went and changed the batch spread to 0.1, and in the same screenshot I also changed the speed from 5,000 to 2,000 just to normalize it with the other shotguns, because 5,000 is basically sniper rifle bullet speed within the game. But with those two changes alone, we already get 90% of what a blunderbuss should be, with the gun now firing a bunch of pellets in a pretty large spread. And because it is now a shotgun, we obviously need to lower the range and lock-on range of the weapon from its former 250 meter range and lock-on range of 50 meters to 35 for the lock-on and 40 for the max range, and this rivals the other shotguns that are in the game. You may have already noticed from the previous clip that the reticle of the musket I changed from a rifle reticle to a shotgun reticle. It just makes more sense to have it this way because it now behaves more like a shotgun than a rifle. For the damage, since we are shooting 16 different bullets instead of just 1, it has to be lowered, otherwise you'd be doing 16 times the damage. Excuse the Todd Howard joke. So by lowering it to 55, now you would just need to hit the target with 3 to 4 pellets out of the 16 in the big spread to do the same damage as you would with a single shot from the now musket. However, against vehicles, if you are close to them when shooting it, where most of the pellets will hit it, it does massive damage because you're doing like 300 plus damage to a vehicle with 1 shot. The other aspect of damage that doesn't change how the weapon performs, but rather how it feels, is how much it can ragdoll enemies. And this is where the weapon gets a tad bit goofy, but in my opinion, the goofy weapons in GTA Online, like the snowball launcher or the up and atomizer, things that can ragdoll players and enemies, are some of the most fun weapons that we have in the game to play around with. So I felt that the blunderbuss should have a massive amount of force delivered with each shot, from 150 to the front and back to 5,000 and 3,500 to the front and back. And the force values across the board were just drastically changed from 100 and 220 to 3,000 across the board. I also added the ragdoll force modifier to this. This is typically on things like rocket explosions, so I'm not sure if it really works with bullet weapons. But as you'll see from the footage, ragdoll is kind of strange. Sometimes the enemy gets launched back from the gunshot, but if the shot kills the enemy or if I shoot him like the upper torso, they don't really get launched. But then if you shoot a corpse with this, the corpse just goes flying back, which is hilarious. But the ideal thing, if possible, would be that every time you shoot an enemy, they just get ragdolled away a good amount. And yeah, it might not be the most realistic thing in the world, but it's fun, and in the end, that's what matters more. GTA Online is nowhere near realistic, especially at this point. And one last thing that I wanted to give it was a different visual effect when firing. I want it to almost look like you're firing a freaking cannon. So I changed the tracer effect to the incendiary shotgun and increased the chance for the tracers to show up when firing, which in comparison goes from this to this. It is very bright, but in slow motion, it's really cool to see the individual 16 pellets get fired from the weapon, especially looking at it from the perspective of being shot at by it. It just looks really neat. I really wish I could change the model to like a blunderbuss model, but I unfortunately couldn't find one to use for that. And the same goes for the sound effect. Originally, I did want to use the same sound from RDR 1, but since there isn't a PC port of that game, at least yet, that I could scrape the sound effect from, I couldn't find a clean audio file to use for the sound effect, unfortunately, so we're stuck with the same musket sound effect. Anyways, this is what a blunderbuss weapon could look like in GTA Online. I do wish Rockstar would get a bit more creative with the weaponry they bring to the game. Even with the current format, they can make some very cool and unique weapons, but we always just get an assault rifle with slightly changed stats, which never feels that different, like the battle rifle, for example. That one's pretty underwhelming. I just want some more fun and unique weapons to play around with that have different mechanics to them. The snowball launcher was a fun example that, unfortunately, that was only available for a limited time during the Christmas event. More stuff like that would be very much appreciated. If you guys enjoyed the video or found it helpful, Feel free to leave a like, as well as subscribe to my channel for more GTA Online content. I also want to give a huge shout out to all my channel members for your support. If you'd like to become a member for some exclusive perks, you can either use the join button or the link that's down in the description. And as always, thanks for watching, and have a great day.